So this is a response to Matt Monarch and his sort of plea to the raw food gurus to like back off each other, and I'm afraid I have to disagree. Let's do a quick history of the raw food diet. Within written history, there is some people talking about that the whole raw food ideal goes back into Persia, predating 100 years ago. So basically, to the best of my understanding, out of the Western thinking, raw foodism probably started getting its ideas, over 100 years ago, roughly the time of the Post Brothers, which is when the whole American health movement basically started, which is likely when a lot of the health movement, people, until the import of spices and sugar and coffee and, all of that kind of stuff, alcohol, Europe was boring. And a lot of this stuff, if you want some really good background on food in general, you want to go to Terence McKenna's book, Food of the Gods. So a lot of people, they just wanted things to taste good, and previous to that, Asia and a lot of these places where these things were exported is where a lot of this like exotica that we're used to. And as far as I'm looking, I'm very interested in chasing down the raw food thing. Southeast Asia is pretty much the only place that has a older history of actually eating raw food, and specifically Vietnam. So there was really no raw food. There's a lot of people that say all this stuff about the Garden of Eden and all this kind of stuff, and you're starting to get into belief systems and all that kind of stuff. Anyways, so there was what's called the hygiene movement, which happened around the turn of the century, roughly. I'm not trying to be exact here, I'm just giving you a loose rundown on the raw food movement. And then I did find out that there was a raw food restaurant in Los Angeles in like the 1920s, and a lot of this was like kind of really not very intelligent. In fact, Paramahansa Yogananda, the author of Autobiography of a Yogi, has another book called Notes from Paramahansa. It's another book that's not as popular, and he was talking about being at a raw food meeting in 1940 and was like basically thought the food was just absolutely atrocious. So then we sort of fast forward to, and then of course, hold on, there is probably a lot of like more of these shaman type, witch type people, which is apparently healers, which is apparently where Anne Wigmore got the notion to do raw food, is because her grandmother was a healer, and I believe she was from Slovenia. Don't quote me again. I'm just giving you like, haven't done any background on this. It's just my blog of stuff, and so Anne Wigmore started healing people. Hippocrates Health Institute. Met up with Viktoras Kovinskas, who had been getting the notion to do this, had been messing around with these ideas, and sprouting. These people were all about sprouting, wheatgrass juicing, sprouting, wheatgrass juicing, enemas, all of this kind of stuff. This was a healing protocol. So then along about the 1980s, you have people like me that come along that find books by Anne Wigmore and a book by Viktoras Kovinskas, which came out in the mid to late 70s, called Survival in the 21st Century. That was my book. I liked Viktoras because he was very hippie-like. The Anne Wigmore crowd, or as Anne Wigmore presented herself, was a little more straight. I don't mean sexually, I mean just Viktoras a bit of a freak, Anne Wigmore a little more straight-laced. So And you had a lot of people starting to find this stuff. And Victoris presented in Survival in the 21st Century this idea of fruitarianism. And kind of based on a little bit of... it'd be interesting to hear his talk on this, because he had one whole chapter on fruitarianism, which... Anyways, let's get through this really quick, this history. And so in the 80s, you had a lot of new agey hippie type people, which that's where I totally fall in. That's when I started my whole raw food thing. I'm on 28 years of being raw vegan, with this brief period that I had for 3 years of being sort of paleo but still attracted. I got totally, fucked up by the whole no low fat thing, which is again, these treatment diets talked about no to low fat, and the whole 90s with all of that kind of stuff. It's just, I believe I could have been successful in the raw vegan diet and not needed to do any of the transition into eating a few animal products. I'm back. I'm strictly raw vegan. Has everything to do with sustainability and animal rights and just lots and lots of stuff. So then you have David Wolf come along in the 90s. And you have people trying to simplify this thing. And now the whole sprout thing is gone. It's all about kale. And you have the botanicos appear. Roughly about... I'm not sure on the dates. But they started being raw foodists. And you have all these fringy people all over the place that were doing this. Just small percentages. It was really with David Wolf. And... as he started lecturing, really most of the momentum gained from more his abilities to speak than really, any fact, because he was a young man at the time, and really the only thing that radiated was really a lot of the success of the Hippocrates Health Institute, which again was a treatment diet. So in the 80s, with the whole New Age thing, you had things like spirulina, chlorella appear, and this is coming not so necessarily out of the raw food movement, just out of the health movement. And again, David Wolf had a lot to do with bringing in some of these things like chocolate and coconut butter and young Thai coconuts and all this kind of stuff. And this is why there needs to be some anger, where there needs to be some fighting, because this is new. You have these complete moronic idiots that are basically, top of my list. Life Regenerator, Raw Christina, and there's other ones. But these people, Raw Christina, what is she, 27, 28? You have Dan the man who's failed, who's gone to the fat thing, which I've been saying all along. And you have these thousands of people, plus you, wait. You have this whole... what is this DVD or this movie that's going around, Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dying, which is about this guy juicing and doing all this stuff. Again, treatment diet, not lifestyle, okay? And this is why there needs to be bickering. Maybe even a little bit of mean-spirited bickering, because you have these people that are kind of arrogant. And how do you fight arrogance? Boom! You hit it upside the fucking head. And Matt Monarch, I've had, I mean, the guy's basically, his intentions are true. He's a really, really good, he's going to do well. But the guy's basically a businessman. He doesn't even, he came out of MTV, has a degree in business. He's trying to make money. So doing this whole thing of let's just be friends and let's be, no, let's, and what do we have right now? This big split in all of the whole health world. You have people that are, let's just consider this division as well, of this idea that people think that you have to have tons of money to be a raw foodist. No, you can sprout. I'm saving money right now because I'm wanting to buy more synthesizers, and I'm getting into the sproutarian thing, which is cheap. It's cheap. You have people like the whole David Wolf crowd, the Daniel Vitalis and the Matt Monarch, be just selling you products and dried things and all, and powders and all this kind of stuff. And that's fine. It works. Maybe not so. Just the sprouting thing's been pushed to the side, which is a big distinction between live food and raw food. And then you have the whole fruitarian crowd. You can just take that and you can just shove that right to the side. That's dumb. I've been there, done that. You have tons of stories of people that are failing on that, and you can look, guaranteed, 98, 99% of the time, you can look at the people that are going, oh, 80-10-10 fruitarianism. They're all 30-something. They're all athletes. All of this, they're Freely, Durian Rider, all of these people, they're freaking just pretty beautiful people. They would look awesome and sexy if they ate at TGIF and Taco Bell. Fruitarian diet has nothing to do with it. You know, maybe their skinniness, their physique, all of that kind of stuff. They're all athletes. You know, the athletic thing that's not the human agenda. That's great if that's what you want to do it. But the success of an athlete that they're having on a diet, that is not the measure of a healthy diet. Okay? It's not important, you know. Being active is important. Having a steady, well-rounded life is important. People need to continue duking it out. This whole shifting around. Well, we don't need to be nice. One thing that the health community needs to get together on, the alternative, is that the evil is the GMO, is the Monsanto, is the McDonald's, is the dumb motherfucking idiots, matrix people that are fat, that are just sitting there, that are wasting their life away, broken motherfuckers that are just breeding, you know, that have no business bringing more people into this freaking 7 billion people that we have on this planet. So, I disagree. I don't think there needs to be peace. I think people need to freaking duke it out, because this whole raw food thing is still new. And people that are like me, that are up in the age, they need to speak out. You know, if there are any. I don't really know anybody else that's doing. You got all these 30-somethings that think they know something. You know, it's just like most people, when they're under 40, if they've been living a semi-healthy life, still look good. Okay? Song of the day. Okay, so our song of the day. I'm going to do a little bit of self-promotion. Is one of my own tracks, Centric. Did a video for this. This is my housemate doing this in his little way. Some kind of psychedelic mirrors there and everything. Interesting track. This is it is what it is. Pretty proud of this track. Like the ambient build-up, sort of drum circle ambience as it gets going. A little bit of trance vibe going on there. Some trance vocals. This is me, my main collaborator Andy Hudson, and Mark Foran doing those bagpipe guitars. Anyways,